Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're going to look at AC 4.1 of the Unit 5HR02, which is assess suitable types of contractual arrangements depending on specific workforce needs. Now, you're probably looking at that question going, but James, my question has so much more words to it and is so much more in depth. And you're probably reading the question, parcel care employs the majority of employees in a permanent full-time contracts. You feel these contracts have their place, but there is time to consider whether other types of contractual agreements could be beneficial to the organization, especially when deemed for delivery service increases and decreases. Full stop. Assess the suitability of permanent full-time contracts for delivery drivers, as well as two other types of contracts. That is where the questions match. It's just you've been given a little bit more of a sort of clue as to where they want you to go, which is the suitability of permanent full-time contracts for delivery drivers, as well as two other types of contracts. So assess, this is going to be a bit of a chunky question. So assess suitable types, that's a plural, of contractual arrangements dependent on specific workforce needs. Within the pre-question, you've been given obviously the clue that's suitable of permanence as well as two others. So you've been asked to assess three types of contractual arrangements within this question. But us as markers, us as moderators, we get given this question, which is assess the suitable types of contractual agreements dependent on specific workforce needs, which you can find if you've got the CIPD lab, as they call it, which is learner assessment brief. You will see it in the marking guidance. This is how 4.1 gets cut down into this basic question. But assess suitable contractual arrangements dependent on specific workforce needs. Assess types. Cheeky S. CIPD loves something which is called the cheeky S, which is where they add an S to something to mean that you've got to do more than one of these things. So assess suitable types means multiple types of contractual arrangements. You can see within 9 of the learner assessment brief and the scenario that they want you to do permanent as well as two others. So they want you to assess 3 types of contract briefs to answer the question fully, dependent on specific workforce needs. So imagine, parcel care, delivery drivers. This is where you're going to be imagining itself working. So I've put in here assess, which is to judge, decide the value, the quality, or the importance of something. That is what assess as the verb means. Now, I've put in here originally, when I first read the question, this is before I got the scenario, 2 action points. I would actually recommend 3 action points for this question. Now we've got the full assessment, which is action point 1, permanent contracts. Assess contract type 1 on the potential workforce needs. Assess permanent contracts on workforce needs. Action point 2, part-time contracts on workforce needs. Action point 3, 0 hours contracts on workforce needs. And you may be the quality importance of something, and you may go, it's not important for this reason. But think about when a company needs a contractor or a part-time worker or a full-time worker. Action point 1, permanent. Action point 2, part-time. Action point 3, contractor. Assess the importance that they would need. You might say that they may need more delivery drivers at Christmas, so therefore you might go part-time, you might go contractors, and that would help deal with an upflow and things like that. So start to think about how you will break the question down. Yes, you can see there's 2 action points in here, three action points for this particular question. I should have added the third. Now that I've got the full CIPD thing, I would recommend 3, which is contractor, part-time, full-time. Contractor, part-time, full-time, 3 action points. They're your subheadings. The way CIPD want you to lay out your work is here. You go AC 4.1. That's how CIPD want you to lay out your work. You have 3 action points. You have 390 words. So that's 130 words per action point. Why do I say you've got that? Is because 5HR02 has 10 ACs for you to answer. Of those 10 ACs, you have a grand total word count of 3,900. That is 390 words per question. Therefore, 390 words to answer these, which is 130 words per action point, because there are 3 action points, even though it says 2 on screen, 3 action points. And that is how you approach it, and that is how you break it down. So do it that way. That way you can sort of build out your question. That way you can build out your answer. CIPD will allow you to go 10% over, they will allow you to go 10% under, but if you break the word count by 1 word either way of the 10% variance, instant refer, assessment gets sent back to you, you have to start again. So something to bear in mind. Don't break the word count, but you know that. Now, as always, we recommend some resources for you to read and stuff like that so that you can stay on top of it. And these are the fact sheets that I would recommend, which is CIPD fact sheet 0 hours contract. It's really useful. It's an idea to make you think about 0 hours contracts and how they could they be suitable in this scenario? Do you dismiss them? CIPD fact sheet contracts of employment. So again, that will give you different types of contracts. So again, think about it for parcel care. Think about how you'd approach it for them. What would you do? And then ACAS, which is employment contracts and the law. Really useful for check yourself just to make sure that you're not giving a recommendation that is completely illegal. Because that would get you a refer. So just ensure that you check it from a legality perspective. What could be the benefits? What could be the drawbacks? How could it be good? How could it be bad? And stuff like that, because that's what you should be thinking about when you're assessing different types of contractual arrangements. And that's how you attack this question. Now, as always, to try and help you understand this question, we have a fictitious analogy scenario thing that we go through with you. And in this scenario, so we've been a race team, we've been a house plant, we've been a chef. Now we're a party planner, and we need to figure out how many people we need to help and for how long, what skills they should have. And this is kind of how workforce needs translate. So you've got workforce needs. The party itself is a small gathering, or is it a big blowout? It translates to the size and the complexity of the project. So if it's a massive thing, then that's how complex it is. That's how it's in. So different contractual arrangements. These are like how the different helpers that you're going to have in terms of party planning. So if it's a massive project, obviously you're going to need to hire a lot of people. So you've got your full-time employees, or FTE. You hire a reliable friend to manage the entire party from decorations to food. This is ideal for long-term ongoing projects. So this party is going to be going on for like months, and therefore we're going to get a full-time employee involved. You've got your part-time employee. You hire a few neighbors to help out with specific tasks like setting up tables, serving a few drinks for a few hours. It's good for tasks that need covering for a set amount of time. So you just might need someone to just sort of drop in, drop out, be there for a few hours and drop off for a few hours and stuff like that. So that's where a part-time employee. Now, what you may also think on this party is actually, no, I want proper professional food, and you hire a freelancer. So you'll hire a professional caterer to prepare the food. They work independently, they deliver the finished product, and it's suited for specialized skills freelancers, isn't it? In terms of this is what they're going to do, this is how it's going to kick out, and this is what's going to happen. And then you might get a temporary worker. So you might hire a few students to help you clean up after the party for a short time, perfect for short-term one-off tasks where it's not a skilled workforce, it's not skilled or anything like that. So just like if you're a party planner and you're choosing the right helpers for your party, different types of contractual arrangement depend on specific needs for the project. And that's why the importance of the project is key. So when you're assessing the suitable types of contract arrangements for specific workforce needs, if you think about this from delivery drivers, parcel care, and how this comes together, you really should come to your answer about, well, freelancers, maybe, temporary workers, maybe, depends on this, part-time employees, maybe not, because we've got to have certain things. So again, if you're assessing the suitability of these types of contracts, I hope this helps. Absolute best of luck with the unit. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.